Happy Wednesday, and what is up, my beautiful patriots? Well, I was looking at a little MSNBC or MSDNC, and they're talking about the Georgia runoff voting. And of course, I could do a whole, the whole presentation on how I feel about voting. But what I noticed was some tips of some info they're giving up and tactics, but some of the tips that maybe the GOP needs to follow. Now, I recommend highly that you watch, the CNNs, Fox News, and all that. But there's definitely a lot of other people on the internet that can give you also real good information. So what does that mean? Do your research. Listen to both sides of the mainstream media entity, but also check out some of your own people and see what they're saying. So let's get into this. This is over at MSNBC, and right now it's saying they've already casted ballots. Now this is from a little ways ago. I got to look for you, but I'm going to leave the link so you can watch this back if you want. But check it out.
The work of building the infrastructure that Stacey Abrams and the New Georgia Project have put in on the ground in the state. So how is the New Georgia Project Action Fund making sure that Black and brown voters are showing up in this runoff election, particularly people who maybe didn't vote in the general election?
Okay, there you go. Some people didn't vote, and now they're going to go out and find those people and get them to vote now. Step number one, if maybe the GOP could do that.
So, Simone, we are leaving no stone unturned out here. We are knocking doors furiously. I believe we've knocked over 540,000 doors thus.
Do you do that math? Does the GOP actually do that? Do they go out and knock on 540,000 doors? How many people does that take to do that? Crickets on the math? I don't know.
Thus far, we have a goal of knocking an additional 400,000 doors in advance of December the 6th.
Near a million.
When you talk about trying to get folks who are non-traditional voters, people who aren't accustomed to voting at a regular cadence, it takes a lot of civic education. It takes a lot of, touch points.
Now, she did say civic education there, and I can go on for hours on that. Number one, teachers' unions are messing with college students, with teachers from college all the way down to pre-first. So that's a whole other story. But yeah, you have to give some civic information there. But who's the guy or girl sitting on their couch, playing their video games over 18, and they don't even care to vote? So if somebody knocks at the door, and believe me, the GOP could copy this. If somebody knocks at the door and they're like, dude, I'm playing my video game here, I don't care about the vote. Well, number one, then you don't want their vote anyway. So you should just go on to the next one. But here's where they go good, or they do good for them. They just say, look, man, it'll take like 10 minutes. Just fill this out. I can even help you to tell you who the best people are to vote. All right. So that, again, GOP doesn't do that. But do we really want the person that doesn't care about the vote to add a vote to the count? I don't know.
At the doors, via text messages, on the phones. There's a lot of confusion out here in Georgia, and that's by design. If your viewers will recall, in response to the 2021 runoff, our legislature came right in. They passed SB 202, which is a voter suppression bill at its finest. And what that bill did is it reduced the number of days for a runoff election. So what we're running into right now is that you have folks who just voted on November the 6th, on November the 8th, and then we're having to tell them, hey, you need to show back up and vote. And they didn't even know that an election is going on. So it's absolutely ridiculous. And there's a lot of difference among the counties, right? So
before we even go there, just picture how many states there are and how they do their voting laws per state. Then break it down to the counties and how they do their voting laws per county, per state, and then go into the just individual districts of voting and or towns and your local voting on what their laws are. Oh my goodness. I hate saying stuff should be federally written, but all 50 states doing all 5 million ways to Sunday to me, it just disagrees with me. So that's that could be a whole other, I could just sit here and tell you and talk to you about that. But let's continue.
Counties had weekend voting, some counties did not. That is a shot of confusion for voters. So what we're trying to do is just make sure that our folks have full information. It's not about excitement per se. I think that is the rumor that's out there. It's about resolve. And I think what you're seeing with these early vote numbers is folks are committed.
Hold on. Resolve is on their terms. All right? Participation and excitement is on our terms if we're not in office, if we're not going out to collect votes. So I have to say the Democratic Party kicks the GOP's behind when it comes to resolve. We just go out on the one day and vote because we're patriotic that way. We believe that's the day to vote and everything else, is superfluous. Well, Democrats work 1,000 times harder to get that check mark on the ballot. So we need to restructure and rethink that in the GOP, but I don't even think they have the guts to do it.
Yes.
Resolve is the word here. The point you made about the early voting is interesting. I was reading that in Cobb County specifically, folks showed up to vote at 9 a.m., but they didn't open till 12. So they had to wait or they had to come back.
I've worked the polls. I don't understand any place that opens up at 12 o'clock. I had to be there 4 o'clock in the morning just to open up by 7. So, because it takes a lot of time to get everything prepared, make sure the machines are working, make sure everything's cleaned up, all the paperwork's organized and ready to go, all the tables, chairs, and blah, blah, blah. Now, I'm not saying that some places where I go, other places might have it all ready to go the night before, but usually we get there 4 to 5 in the morning, we got donuts, and we just go to work, and coffee too.
So there's lots of...
Let's go to this young man.
There are different rules. So James, what are y'all doing? How are you focusing your efforts? And
Where do you
I'm
see
very
what this
interested
kid
in what
said?
issues young voters
Young
are
man.
telling you that that line up with their priorities. What's percolating to the top for them when they look at Herschel Walker and when they look at Reverend Warnock?
Right. So first, what we're doing is we're trying to meet people where they are. And I think that's something that we really took from New Georgia Project.
Meet people where they are and listen to his details.
They're absolutely incredible at this. But we're meeting people where they are as far as college campuses. We're on the college campuses in Metro Atlanta and beyond. And we're reaching young people in their classrooms.
Does the GOP do that? No, they don't.
Reaching them in the library. We're reaching them in the cafeteria, wherever they may be, and letting them know there is a runoff election here.
Who's in the cafeteria? Probably an advocate student is walking around preaching this stuff, right? It's smart.
Is how you can vote and let us help you in any way that we can. Not only are we doing that, but we're also in the Board of Elections, in their meetings, in their regularly scheduled public hearings, and asking them, hey, don't take early voting away from our college campuses. Too many counties have made too many efforts to strip.
And I must warn you, 95% of college campuses teach the leftoid brainwaves. So, and you can look that up, 90 to 95%. That's pretty much my anecdotal opinion, and I only do this stuff for teaching. So this isn't anything evil I'm presenting you. But the college campuses, just churn them out. And that's, by the time you're in your young 20s, late teens. But high schools and even grade schools now are sneaking it in there. Thank you, teachers unions.
College campuses at their early voting locations, shorten the periods, move the locations, add that confusion that you were talking about earlier. And so while we're on college campuses doing the work, trying to get people to the polls, we're also in our government offices trying to make sure that our polls on college campuses are open, or that for students who are living out of state.
Leave me in your comments below. Do you know of any GOP factions that are doing this? I don't. And I have a feeling if they showed up on any of these campuses or whatever, or classrooms or cafeterias, they would be booed out. So they wouldn't even be able to get their voice out the other side, right?
They're going to be able to get their absentee ballot received and submitted in time. But as far as issues that young people care about right now, you already know we want our student loan debt canceled. We want access to the reproductive health care that our mothers and our grandmothers had. And we want politicians to stop the talking and actually start doing the walking on the climate crisis. Those are the issues that we're hearing about from most young people. They want to be able to know that they're going to
So you got young college campuses saying they're on their minds is the abortion thing. Well, first of all, it shouldn't be on any mind but a woman. So the men shouldn't even have a say in it. But that's my opinion. I have no skin in that game, and I think per state, let the women vote, on their own of how they want to handle it, and then go on from there. But no men should even be in that, right? So that's just my view. I have no skin in that game. And as far as what about the guy that has to take out a loan? He's 2 years into starting his own lawn business, and he realizes he needs a dump truck. They're about $100,000. Does he work that hard to get there, or she? And then you got to get $100,000 vehicle? Come on, man. I know you can get a used one. I'm just saying, college getting forgiven? Can't happen. That's not fair. College is a contract you sign up for and then you fulfill. These kids are being damaged in the brain.
Family in a climate that they can go outside and breathe. They want to make sure that they're going to have access to quality reproductive health care, and they want to make sure that they can grow up with that little to no.
Preach, James. Preach, James. I'm in here throwing my hands up. Preach. The young people is paying attention. I don't care what the streets say. I know the young people paying attention. Nala, something James just mentioned was reproductive health care. In Georgia specifically, a judge just reinstated a near total abortion.
I'm going to need to cut it there because on my channel here, I already told you my view. I got no skin in that game, so there's no sense in me even posting up anything like that. All I can tell you is we have no balls in the GOP right now. They're not putting up good candidates, and they're not playing the game that the Democrats are playing. And hate it as much as you want, but the Dems are doing what they're doing, quote unquote, legally. That could be also discussed. But where are we at? I lean a little bit right. I'm pretty much a centralist. But I do lean, to let's make some money. Let's create some jobs, and let the cream rise to the top and pull some people up with you while you can. Because some of that pulling up also from that person needs to be a little bit earned. You can tell they're a good moral person. They just had some bad luck. So you got to pull them up a little bit. That's all cool. All right. But socialists and communists, I'm not going for it. So anyway, just wanted to let you see that. I'll put the link in the comment down there. Please help me out here. Pass me around. Repost it. Share, like, subscribe, all that crap. And I love you guys. And remember to kiss, love, hug a veteran. I'm sending some love to Leah and Dave and, of course, Gretchen at Coda Vets. I'm sorry. My brain, I had too much coffee. Coda Vets, at Coda Vets on Twitter. All right. I'll see you guys on the other side. And kiss, love, hug a veteran.